and that is why The Witcher Season 3 is terrible. Fare you well, Nova Year. Oh no, it's my evil twin, the Shells.
Yes, Shad, it is I. The Shells one! And you are in big trouble. You aim too high and criticize too many. This ends now. On behalf of my overlord, I hereby curse you. You won't be able to post anything new until something good appears in theaters, and that will never happen!
No! Tread carefully. Your road leads into the desert and into the land of spoilers. My Gavanen. This is the Tolkien Shred talking, and here's the review of Dune Part 2. I loved Dune Part 1 despite a few of its flaws. The second part does not disappoint. It presents a rich world with well-designed environments, customs, characters, intrigues and storylines. The development of the character of Paul is given time and his actions are thought-provoking. His relationship with Chani and conflict are quite interesting. Harkonnens, the antagonists, are menacing and relentless, making them the perfect villains. The visuals are memorable and stunning. The beauty of the desert, the majesty of sandworms, the otherworldliness, literal and metaphorical, of Harkonnen's home planet. The music assists the spectacle almost perfectly and makes it even more dramatic. But the movie also uses silence competently to signify the uncertainty of the fate of the characters in the most serious moments. The movie isn't without its flaws, but I fully recommend you to watch it. If you haven't done so, please consider it before watching the next part of this video, as here come the spoilers. After the attack of the Harkonnens, Paul and his mother hide among the Fremen. Jessica believes that Paul is supposed to lead the Fremen as their prophesied leader, Lisan-al-Gaib. However, Paul does not want this power. He sees its consequences in his visions and fears that accepting the role of a messiah would lead to countless deaths. Through his bravery and resourcefulness, as well as the knowledge of the Harkonnens, he gains respect among the Fremen. He becomes very close with one of them, a warrior named Chani. Soon they become lovers. After some time, Paul becomes a renounced warrior, while his mother ascends to the role of a spiritual leader of the Fremen, the Reverend Mother. She does whatever she can to convince the Fremen that Paul is their messiah. One of the Fremen leaders, Stilgar, follows suit. Because of Paul's help, the Fremen successfully disrupt Harkonnen's spice production. Enraged by the losses, Baron Harkonnen sends his relative Feyd-Rautha to vanquish the Fremen. The situation becomes dire. Having suffered a heavy defeat, the Fremen retreat to the south. But Paul doesn't want to go. It is in the south where his visions lead him. It is in the south where he would have to accept his role as Lisan-al-Gaib. Finally, the encouragement from Chani and his sense of responsibility convince him to join the journey south. There he undergoes the final trial and survives a test that no man is supposed to withstand. He drinks the poisonous fluid deceptively called the Water of Life. The drink grants him the power to see the future. He stands before the congregation of the Fremen, announces himself as Lisan-al-Gaib, and proves that he has the knowledge and power beyond the understanding of regular people. The Fremen accept him as their leader. He then sends a message to the Emperor himself, which provokes him and his army to go to Arrakis. Then the Fremen attack the Imperial forces and defeat them. The Emperor is taken captive, all the Harkonnens die. Feyd-Rautha is defeated by Paul in an even duel. In exchange for Emperor's life, Emperor's daughter accepts Paul to become her husband and legitimize his rule as a new emperor. However, the great houses don't accept this, and the film ends with the Fremen beginning the attack on them, starting the holy war that Paul was so afraid of. The ending of the movie is quite interesting. With all the Harkonnens dead, we do not know who will be the antagonist in the later installments if they are made. I believe that the intention is to blur the line, to show the dangers that come with blindly following the prophecies. After all, for all we know, the prophecies of Lisan-al-Gaib could have been entirely made up by the Bene Gesserit. I believe that the relationship between Paul and Chani was given enough time to be developed. Both their love and their conflict seem grounded and understandable. When it comes to the character of Paul, I especially like how much time was given for showing how he was accepted by the Fremen. Paul himself changes a lot. At the beginning, he wants only vengeance and he cares for the Fremen. He fears his visions, but the duty calls him at last to the place where the visions will become true. He accepts his fate and something changes in him forever. Being able to see the possible futures, he finds the best way for the Fremen, but he also becomes quite ruthless. He realizes his visions, overthrows the Emperor, and starts a holy war against the whole galaxy. In order to do what is best for his people, he must leave Chani and marry Emperor's daughter. When it comes to Chani, she is an atheist, but she believes in Paul as a person. She teaches him the ways of the desert, respects him as a warrior, but rejects any religious claims. When Paul changes, he gives her more and more reasons to be angry. He becomes everything he denied being. And finally, he leaves her. It remains to be seen how their conflict will be resolved. Paul's mother, Jessica, seems to be the most morally dubious character of all. She manipulates the Fremen, but not to help Paul achieve his goals, but to help herself achieve her own goals towards Paul. Behind Paul's back, she does everything to realize the prophecy. One of the Fremen leaders, Stilgar, has a similar goal, but uses very different means. He does what he can to convince other Fremen that Paul is Lisan-al-Gaib. On this path, he becomes quite hilarious. Whatever action Paul takes, it is interpreted by Stilgar as a realization of one or another prophecy. It even comes to this that Paul denying being the Messiah is treated as a proof that Paul is the Messiah. Wait, this reminds me of something.
I'm not the Messiah!
Only the true Messiah denies his divinity.
He is the Messiah!
And now the villains. The Harkonnens are none less menacing, terrifying, brutal and evil than in the first movie. The Baron is scheming as always, Rabban is as always an angry brute, while the new character, Feyd-Rautha, is a psychopath. He passes the Jom Gabar test, the same that was given to Paul, in which you put your hand in the box. He actually likes the pain and makes a fitting opponent for Paul. The world building in the movie is quite remarkable. The many ways in which the Fremen adapted to life on Arrakis. The representation of difference between the south and north of the planet. The representation of the Harkonnens' character. Their cruelty, decadency, menace, internal schemes. They constantly test each other and have no reverence for human life. The culture that they created on their own planet is distinct and fitting. Everyone is bald, pale, bloodthirsty and wears black robes. The use of many languages, everybody has one, the Fremen, the Sardaukar, the Harkonnens, the Bene Gesserit. And finally, I believe the most creative choice, that is shown in the flow of time through the development of the baby in Jessica's womb. But wait, everything is cool so far, where is the imperfection that was in the title of the video? I believe that the movie has 2 severe flaws and a handful of problems that would be solved by a short explanation or a couple of scenes. Let's start with those less important issues. Sandworm riding makes for some of the coolest shots in the whole movie. But until I see a sandworm stopped by a human rider, I would need some more scenes to explain how the hell did Jessica, being pregnant, and all the Fremen get on the sandworm to cross the sandstorm. I also believe that Stilgar being a blind follower of Lisan-al-Gaib wasn't properly set up in the first movie, so I wouldn't mind a scene or two showing this side of this character before he accepts Paul as the Messiah. Jessica becoming the Reverend Mother of the Fremen is also very quick, and once again would require a little more explanation. Why exactly did they choose this foreign woman to be their spiritual leader? The Emperor going to Arrakis wasn't unbelievable, but it was surely convenient for Paul. The most powerful person in the galaxy fell right into his trap and was easily defeated. One of the major plot points in the movie is the fact that Feyd-Rautha finds Sich Tower and destroys the Fremen that live there. But there is no exact reason for him finding this hideout. He doesn't do anything new, he does everything that the Harkonnens did before, but now suddenly he succeeds. So those were the small problems that I noticed. Now it's time for the big ones. Firstly, the Great Houses. The question was out there since the first movie: how will the Great Houses react to the fall of the House Atreides? Will they find out about the Harkonnens' plot and the Emperor's involvement? The discovery would mean war. This point is made in the second movie explicitly. So informing the Great Houses should be a priority for Paul. What's more, the Great Houses should be interested in this matter themselves, and the discovery of the murder is easy to make. They have had plenty of time and the evidence is all over the place. The Harkonnens have taken place of the Atreides on Arrakis. The last soldiers of the fallen house are openly killed on Giedi Prime, and smugglers travel to and from Arrakis relatively freely. But if that's not enough, Paul has everything he needs to inform them. The Great Houses would be of great help, as they respected the Atreides and would fear that the Harkonnens and the Emperor could come for them next. Nothing stops Paul from sending them a message, not even his visions, as he rejected them at the beginning. He has the means. After all, he does send a message to the Emperor. The involvement of the Great Houses, their investigation and call for justice or even vengeance, would change the story drastically. But they don't know anything and they don't do anything. And that is a great problem. Secondly, weaponry and warfare. I wasn't engaged in many of the fights in the movie for a simple reason. All I could think about was, why the hell aren't you using guns? Most of the fights take place in the desert, where the shields that prevent the use of guns are useless, so guns, not swords, should be the primary weapons. And they are in some of the fights, but not in the others. I could be convinced by an additional scene or two that the Fremen have limited access to that weaponry, but nothing justifies the Harkonnens, who also many a time use simple blades. The fact that sword fights are awesome cannot justify throwing the firearms out. Do these flaws make the movie unwatchable, terrible and worthless? Of course not, but they show that there is space for improvement. Despite these weaknesses, I look forward to the next time when we will see Dune in the cinemas. So, there you have it. Now it's your turn. What do you think about Dune Part 2? Leave your answers in the comments. I gotta run before my evil twin finds me, so see you soon, very well, Nova Year. Through his bravery and resourcefulness,
No! It's my twin evil shed the evil man.
I'm dying.
No!
Subscribe right now, you little hobbitses.